Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video right here on the crypto markets. We're going to do a full update on Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum. We'll talk about some altcoins and kind of the hot narratives right now, which I think, if you know what's going on in the markets, you can already guess which narrative is very, very hot at this point of time. A ton of momentum again over the course of this morning in the early afternoon, so we'll talk about that as well. First of all, some news. I mean, honestly, at this point of time, there's not much news to talk about. We had Goldman Sachs talking about gold right here, but also talking about Bitcoin potentially being on central bank balance sheets. That's all good news. I mean, we've had quite a lot of news like that, right? I mean, I have some news feeds to the left of me as well. But a lot of crypto related and crypto native products and just in general products being released, and accessibility to crypto products and to crypto in general being improved, right? Especially in the United States with the new regulatory environment. So that's obviously bullish. That's one of the key reasons why we've been so bullish in the past week, or should I say, week and a half almost. And that's also key of the reason why I still hold a bullish bias right now. This morning I said, when we're talking about Bitcoin here, we'll talk about Bitcoin first, then we'll do some XRP, Ethereum real quick, and then we'll talk about altcoins. I think altcoins is going to be most interesting if you have a limited time, so skip ahead if you'd like. But this morning I said, momentum is decreasing, and I still think so. I mean, last week momentum was ramping up, and now yesterday we actually did still have momentum. So it's definitely not that I'm saying, oh, we're going to have a crash. No, but we're losing momentum, right? I mean, if you compare the momentum we had last week to right now, there's less of it. But this morning I also said, I think it's most likely we're just going to remain stable. And that's what has continued to happen over the course of today. And that is what I think is most likely for now as well, that we will have some stability right here at the all-time highs. And then I would remain fluid in your bias of what to expect. We can either have a breakdown towards 121,000, or we can break out above 126,000, which seems to be the main resistance level for now, and rally into 129,000. At this point of time, I'm not certain which one of the which of these two is most likely. Given the momentum in the markets, I would argue it's a little bit more likely we'll see something like this. But I would not buy Bitcoin because of that. I would focus on some other altcoins and some other narratives that have a little bit more room to grow, so to speak. But okay, so when we're talking about XRP, when we're talking about Ethereum, XRP has remained relatively stable. I don't think XRP is the key area to focus right now. Ethereum is a little bit more interesting. Obviously, yesterday we had an ETH BTC, so the relative strength of Ethereum against Bitcoin. We saw that reclaim a significant key level, so we actually saw Ethereum outperform Bitcoin, which at this point of time is also still true. But if you take a look at it since the middle of August, I mean, obviously Bitcoin right now is trading much higher, and Ethereum very much is not. But there are some signs that Ethereum is starting to outperform Bitcoin. And the key Ethereum beta coin at this point of time that's also gaining quite a lot of momentum is Athena. Now, Athena is a tricky project to trade. And at this point of time, to me, it also does not look like a buy. But if it's able to reclaim this level right here, around 62 cents, with some decent volume, I'll probably become a buyer. But it's very tricky at this point of time. And like I said, at this point of time, it's certainly not a buy. Okay, so that is what I think you need to know. By the way, I'm recording this video about 35 minutes before the US market opens. It's probably going to be volatile, right? So be aware of that as well. It's not guaranteed that we will just remain bullish the entire time. So be aware of that and prepare yourself for that in terms of risk management. But okay, altcoins. So by far the strongest narrative at this point of time. And if there's one thing that I've learned about this narrative is that it always continues longer than you expect, is BNB, all right? Binance and everything surrounding the Binance network is doing great. I did a video on BNB yesterday where I called for 1300. We easily reached that over the course of today. My next target was around 1450, which doesn't sound too crazy right now either. I mean, we're still like there's no bearish divergences right now. Still incredibly strong, but there's certain altcoins that belong to this narrative that are incredibly strong as well. So for example, Simon's Cat Bit of a strong pullback right here, but that's a very interesting one. Lista is another one. I can quickly look them up for you. Lista is another one right here that has a lot of momentum, but again, I mean, these are tricky to trade, right? I mean, they've all pumped already. Pancake Swap, another one. What more do we have? Broccoli, Form, Floki also seems to be part of that ecosystem in general. But like I said, I mean, most of these have pumped, so I would either wait for a bit of a pullback, or I would find some BNB ecosystem coin that has not yet rallied, or not too much, that's gaining new momentum, that's gaining volume, where you actually have a sense that, maybe they're actually picking this up, and maybe it's going to rally. But like I said, Floki, it's not really BNB ecosystem, but Floki has gained a ton of momentum since Saturday. I also called it out back then. I think this will still eventually break out, but do you really want to buy before the breakout? I'll leave that up to you. It's just my job to point it out to you that it looks strong. Two more. BitTensor looks quite strong. I would personally wait for a pullback, but that's my. I'm a little bit of a conservative trader. I mean, it's definitely not guaranteed that we will pull back. We could just as well just rally into 364 right here. It just looks strong. And then outside of that, Jasmy. Jasmy is top of my watch list. It's gaining some new momentum right here. If it's able to reclaim the 30-day rolling VWAP, it looks good to enter in my opinion, but that's not financial advice. And those are my personal thoughts. So that's what I think you need to know for now. Those are my thoughts going into this Tuesday, going into the NYO, the US session. It's good to realize that the volume is actually quite low right now, right? So that's also why I'm telling you, the start of the US session can be quite volatile. Be aware and be ready of that, and don't over leverage your account and your trades. Those are my thoughts. Thank you for watching, everybody. Have a good and profitable day today, and bye.